right, so moving on, we're gonna just start from the top and move down a little bit here. We've got your auto stop start option. A lot of folks like that. Saves you approximately 1 mpg per commute. Some folks really don't like that. So if you're a fan who doesn't like that option, basically per commute, you're gonna have to click that button. There's no other way about it. It's an EPA regulated thing. It's gonna be on every single vehicle moving on here on out. You've got your 360 camera system, so if anytime you want to view that, maybe look in the bed and see what's going on. And real quickly, I'll just show you this feature. If you do want to look in the bed while you're driving the vehicle, you can go ahead and click that bed camera, and while we're in motion, it's going to show us that video. You've also got parking. So this vehicle is a Platinum. It is an F-150 Platinum Edition, and it does have Active Park Assist 2.0. So you click this button, let's go ahead and put it in drive. And I'll click this button and it'll tell me that it's ready to go. I don't want it to navigate me to parking because I'm already in a park position. I just need assistance. So it's gonna tell me whether I wanna move out of a parallel park spot. If I don't, I'm not in one. If I want to perpendicular the vehicle, it'll show me how to perpendicular park. Actually, it won't show me, it'll do it for me. And then I can parallel park in or out on this. So this one's parallel parking in, that one's parallel parking out. This one here is perpendicular parking. So basically what's gonna happen is if I wanted to do that, I would drive forward. It's gonna be scanning to the left or right. And how you get it to scan the right direction you want to go, you simply just turn on your blinker. You turn on your blinker to the direction you want to park. So if I'm parking parallel, or if I'm perpendicular parking on the left side, I'll turn my blinker to the left side. It'll scan for that available slot, and it'll tell me to stop. And then it'll tell me to go ahead and put the vehicle in neutral or reverse, and I will click and hold this button. The entire time, it's doing the steering wheel, putting me in my parking spot. So that's the parking assist. It's a really great feature, super easy to use. Moving on back, you've got your hazards. I'm gonna pull us out of the parking. You've got hazards, you've got your traction control off button, and then hill descent. So hill descent is a really great feature that is not talked about enough. You turn on that while you've got your trailer on the back, you're going down a steep grade, you click that button on, and as you're going down, you set your speed limit. If you push the brakes, it'll use the transmission and the engine to kind of be an engine brake for you, and it'll help you slowly go down that so you're not burning up your brakes on your trailer or your vehicle's brakes. So that is utilizing the engine and transmission to help you slow your load as you're going downhill. That's hill descent. All right, so moving on down, you got your volume control. You can actually adjust your stereo from this button manually. You can look at some of your sources in your audio, should you want to, through this button here. And you can also black out the screen with that button there. And it'll just show you the time, and it'll show you the date. You can skip through and seek if you need to. You can hit the play button if you want to. You can seek again, left or right. You can do all that. If you're a big fan of using the manual buttons, they're there for you is what I'm trying to say. So let's go ahead and turn that screen back on. We're gonna click the screen button, and that goes full black. Click it again, and it comes all the way back on for you. So for audio, talking about the audio system, and you can see that we're really kind of talking about this infotainment system a lot because there's so much to do there. It's quite incredible. When it comes to the audio system, what Ford's done is really, really nice. So you can save your XM channels, you can save your FM channels and your AM channels all on this bottom beam right here, and it gives you 2 pages to do so. So you've got 10 total slots, 2 pages to do it. If you see here, I've got an FM channel right there. I've got HD radio equipped with this vehicle. I've got an AM channel right there pre-saved, and I've got the highway on Sirius XM saved here. So let's go ahead and show you just exactly how you do that saving. So while I'm in Sirius, if I want to change the channel, I can just simply rotate the tuner here. Let's say I want to save Old Willie's Roadhouse. So while I've got Old Willie's Roadhouse here, I'm gonna just go ahead and click and hold, and it's going to save that channel where I want it. So you can pan back and forth through AM, FM, and Sirius, all at your convenience, all at the bottom. And that second page, it's just a swipe away. So moving on from the radio, I've got my Android Auto. We kind of already touched on that. Some folks might want to know how to get to your apps while you're in Android Auto. You're going to click this little circular icon and it's going to bring up all of your apps. So you can go through all your apps. Now, you can't watch Netflix. You can't watch YouTube. Those are all distractions, right? So it's only going to allow you to use certain apps that are not distracting while driving. So keep that in mind. I can click over to the navigation if I want to. And if I want to add a favorites, let's say I'm a big stereo guy. This is a Platinum. This one has the Bang & Olufsen 18 speaker unleashed, which is over 1,000 watts of power. So maybe you're that stereo guy. Well, let's just go ahead and click that. I want to adjust my stereo all the time. I want to save that as a presetting. Maybe you want to do zone lighting. Change it to zone lighting. Maybe you tow all the time. Just click towing and you'll save that down there. So you don't have to go through all your settings in order to get to that list. Some of your apps, now those will come from your phone. You'll have to allow those to be downloadable and you can adjust the apps. So that menu, this isn't the vehicle that we're keeping. So it's not going to pull in, I'm not going to allow it to pull in some of the apps that I'd have on my phone. Settings, very simply put, going through here, you've got vehicle, you've got Sirius XM, you've got your phone list. Now on phone list, if I want to delete this person, I can just go into there and I can click delete. That's how you will delete an individual from the phone, from your phone list. If you want to, let's say you have your significant other, your partner, maybe your friends in the vehicle, they want to connect to your vehicle. Well, yours is going to be typically the primary, right? Because you started it with the vehicle. You can go to phone list and add a phone. You can add their phone, click on their phone, and they can play their Bluetooth music they want you to hear or something of that nature, whatever you guys have in mind. You've got profiles, that's a new one. So if you're familiar with MyKey, and maybe if you're not familiar with Ford MyKey, what it does is it allows you to take one of these keys. When they come out of when they come from the manufacturer, they come to the dealership, both of them are master keys, okay? So you can actually take one of these keys and program it as a secondary key with restrictions. And what I mean by that is you can set speed prompts, so you can make it to where it'll only go up to 80 miles an hour. You can make it to where the volume only goes up to 50%. You can make it to where the seatbelt dings the entire time until it's plugged in. And that's through MyKey. And when you set up profiles, you can set this up. You can set that up as a secondary driver. It'll save the memory seats. It'll save the mirrors. It'll save your foot pedal placement because these are power adjustable foot pedals. It'll save the steering wheel, all to that person's profile. And it'll also save those driving specs that you have set up and the functionality throughout the vehicle. It'll save all that to that profile. I'm not gonna go ahead and add a profile today because again, this is not my vehicle. This is just a demonstration. But if you wanted to do that, you certainly could. So moving on down on the vehicle, we talked about your analog settings where you're kind of manually touching, and some people are a manual touch type of person where they want to touch things rather, physical objects versus a screen. And you can do that through the Ford product for sure. You can turn on the air right here. It's dual climate control, and that's actually dual climate control from 302A XLT all the way up. You can get that on the XLT now, which is great. So you get this big, large screen as well. But on this Platinum, I've got heated steering wheel, heated seats, cooled seats. I've got max defrost, rear air. I can control the direction I want my air to go, and I can turn it on auto. What's really nice is Ford's add 3 sets of auto. So you've got a high, you got a mid, and you got a low. Auto is great. Recently just learned from the Ford rep that comes in and kind of give us some training, says that auto actually pulls the air from outside, okay? If it's colder outside and it's hot inside, it's gonna pull the air from outside while you have your AC on. It's gonna cool down your vehicle faster. And as soon as your vehicle's colder than outside, it'll automatically close that outdoor flap. So you're just recirculating inside air. So 3 sets of auto is really, really awesome. You can have it all the way on full blast while you're trying to cool down the vehicle, and then you can slow it down as need be. Again, you've got heated cools, that's his, hers, or his and passengers. And then you've got a 110 outlet, or a 120 outlet rather, at 400 watts. So last year's model was a 110. This one's AC 120 at 400 watts. You've got a 12 volt port here, and then you got the secret Glock box, as we call it. Now, granted, it's gonna have to take a small Glock to fit in there, but we call it the Glock box. Kind of fun. Little storage spot there, and then you've got your glove box over there. Moving on down, this vehicle has a very cool feature, which allows you to drop the shifter down into the center console itself and then fold over the armrest into a work surface. Now, there's a lot of things you can use this for. It's really usable. You could eat lunch here, you could do invoices here, you could sign checks here, you can count all that money you're making right here. There's a ton of things you can do. It's a great little thing to have. I absolutely love it. Great. Ford did a great job adding that. I mean, it just makes so much sense. If you already have this space, why not utilize it, right? That's one thing Ford thinks of for sure. Inside, still got just as much storage space as you did before. It's a little bit smaller on the high end, but it seems to be just as big as previous models. So very, very big, always inside of there. So in this Platinum, we have a 12.3-inch display digital dash. Now that can be had in Lariat and above. And with this digital dash comes a number of different things. Number one, on the mile an hour, as we're driving down the street, we can see those street signs pop up and it'll tell us our mile an hour. So on this tick right here, it'll just have a little tiny street sign. It's gonna tell us exactly where that mile an hour is and where we are in conjunction to it. Let's talk a little bit more about this 12.3-inch and the driving modes. So if I reach on down here to the driving mode and I rotate it to the left, first thing it's gonna do is show me that I'm in normal. If I push it over one more time, it's gonna show me in trailer tow haul. Now what happens when I go trailer tow haul is the vehicle is gonna put the most amount of torque possible through the transmission and to those rear tires. It knows that I'm going to trailer tow haul, so it's gonna automatically click on that transmission cooler and cool down that transmission. In trailer tow haul, it tells me that I'm there over here in the corner. Then it gives me this beautiful new animation that I get to look at. So I'm not always looking at this Ford blue. I've got this orangish blue looking color now, greenish color in there, if you will. And then if I want to get out of trailer tow haul, I can go over to the left again, and now I'm in eco. So it's a totally different aspect. With this one, the engine's really gonna try to optimize the fuel economy. So that means I'm not gonna be high up in the RPM band, staying in those powerful boost levels that this vehicle can do. I'm gonna stay low in the RPM band. I'm gonna optimize as much fuel as I possibly can. And again, I get a brand new display. So it almost feels like I'm driving a new vehicle every time I change the driving mode. And in essence, you kind of are. Clicking back over, let me go over to the sports mode. So in this one, something happens. It automatically goes to 4-wheel drive. But it's not just 4-wheel drive, it's automatic 4-wheel drive while in sports mode. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna put it in 4A down here. So some might ask, well, why is it gonna put it in 4A? Well, with 500 foot-pounds of torque, I might break the wheels loose, so I might need 4-wheel drive so I can beat someone off the line, right? That's why it goes to 4A. That's your sports mode, beautiful display, gives the vehicle all the possible power, really holds that transmission in the RPM band, keeping that turbo motor just spooling all the turbo boost that it can possibly produce. Going back now, I'm gonna go back over to the right. So I'm gonna skip over these just really quickly. I've got slippery and wet. So in this mode, you might say, well, Nathan, how's the vehicle gonna keep me from sliding around on the road? Again, I'm gonna put it back in that 4A. That's what Ford's done here. And what they've done is they've actually lowered the RPMs again. So they don't want you to get those high spike in RPMs to increase that chance of slipping. It's gonna shift really early, still giving you that low end torque, kind of like the trailer tow haul mode, but it's also just gonna give you a great opportunity to maintain the grip on the ground by going 4 automatic. Skip on over from that one, going another one over to the right. You got deep snow and sand in this one. So a lot of activity happens on this one. You've got your traction control off on this side. They've gone ahead and locked the rear locker on this one, and they put it in 4 high. Now, I didn't have to put any modes in. I didn't have to put any of those in. I didn't have to put it in 4-wheel high. I didn't have to lock the rear end, and I didn't have to take the traction control off. I wouldn't know what to do, quite honestly. So the vehicle's driving modes they're designed specifically for those modes. You don't have to be a professional in that type of environment, is what we're trying to say. We can put it in that driving mode, and it's already been calibrated to give you the best responsiveness per that situation. So just put it in the mode that you're going to, and the vehicle will handle it from there. Moving on over, you've got mud and ruts. Another beautiful display, as mentioned previously. This one's kind of like a brownish green again. Gone ahead, kept the rear locker. We kept it in 4 high. We've got this cool little trail mode here with a tree there. And then we have traction control off again. Let's try another mode. Let's move again, over to the right. Another mode, rock crawling mode. For this one, it's asking for us to go 4 low. Because in 4 low, we're not doing highway miles. We're not going 60 miles an hour. We're going slow and steady with all the torque and all the power. So rock crawling mode, lock the rear end, taking traction control off once again, and it's asking me to go to neutral so I can put it in that 4 low. Those are all the modes that Ford has offered at this point in time. And the reason why I say that is with this all new F-150, it over-the-air updates. So Ford might say, hey, I got a couple new driving modes for you to enhance your driving experience. And they'll just drop them in the bucket and you'll be flipping around on your dial and say, oh, got some new driving modes from Ford. So really cool that Ford has the ability to add new driving modes to the vehicle, add new things to the vehicle at any time. All right, guys, let's talk about your brand new Ford steering wheel and some of the new buttons that may be there. So on this left side here, at the very bottom, you got your volume up, volume down. So on the very left, volume down. In the middle, you've got your volume up. And then towards the inside, you've got your voice command button. On the right side, you've got the hang up button. And you've got your left and right toggle should you want to change the station. So you can see how it's partially connected to the phone and also partially connected with your music on the bottom side of things. On the upper tier portion, this is a brand new logo for the cruise control button. You've got the set, and this will actually set the cruise control to whatever speed that you have it set at, and you can hit plus, plus, plus. It'll move up in increments of 1. If you hold it down for a few seconds, it'll start doing it in increments of 5, and then it'll go 10, and then it'll just keep going until it goes way out of control. But it'll just keep going is what I'm trying to say. And then you've got the negative button, so you can actually click down negative of increments of 1, and then also if you keep holding it, it'll go increments of 5 and then 10. In the middle here, this is actually a very important button right here. This is actually the cancel and restart. So if I'm in adaptive cruise control, or any cruise control for that matter, if I cancel by putting my foot on the brake, I can re-enable by using this button right here. And then to the right of that, you've got your lane centering and lane keeping together. And then you also have your adaptive cruise control. So this, by clicking that button, you can set the space of the vehicle that you want to keep in front of you, how far you want that distance to be. On the right side, we've got the menu for the back display. So if I click the down button here, very simply, I can look at my trip and my mileage. I could look at my vehicle info. I can look at some of the towing aspects that I have set up within the vehicle. I can pull up navigation turn by turn if I'd like to. I can look at some of my phone options if I'd like to there, audio, and some little further bit settings there that I can make quick panels where I can just scroll through really quickly and add some certain features to quickly get to them without having to go through this entire settings setup. I'm not going to show you that right this second, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. You've got the menu that helps you navigate this background as well, and then you can click the back button should you want to exit any of that. So let's talk about screen configuration, where we can actually set up particular screens that actually work best for us. If we click the OK button on the steering wheel, we can add some screens. So per Ford, we already have a fuel economy screen selected. Per Ford, we already have a trip 1 selected. We can add a trip 2 if we want to. We could add tire pressure as a screen. We could add seat belts. That may be important for some of you guys who have people riding in the back, maybe those youngsters. You got 4-wheel off-roading, so you can pull that up if you're into that. Power distribution is actually a really good menu. It's actually going to show you all four corners of the vehicle and which tires are actually putting power to the ground versus ones that are slipping. So that's a really cool option as well. Your driving behavior, so your economy, you can look at that. You can look at that trailer tire info we talked about earlier with the trailer system. And then you can also look at the trailer light status. So it'll do that trailer light check that we had talked about earlier. But because we don't have a trailer set up in this demonstration, we won't be able to open those menus. So if I go back now I can just go down. I've got driver's assistance here. I've got my fuel economy mode, trip mode. I've got my tire pressures on this particular vehicle. I can look and see who is buckled in, which it shows to be nobody at the moment, so 0. Moving on down, 4-wheel drive mode. So this will actually show me the leaning of the vehicle front and back. So if I'm tipping towards the front, it'll show me what degree I'm doing it. To the left or right, it'll show me what degree. In this demonstration, it's showing that we're 1 degree, and then we're pretty level everywhere else, which is to be expected. Moving on down, that power distribution, as I mentioned before, so it's gonna show you what tires are actually putting traction to the ground. So that might be important if you're off-roading or doing some trailing to really kind of see which tires are touching and which ones are not without you getting out of the vehicle. And then you've got that driving behavior. So how's your acceleration? If it's green at 99 like this one, that means we're doing optimal all the way through. And that's typically because the vehicle's off. That's why we're at 99. So we're not running this vehicle here. So we're at 100% speed, 100% deceleration, 100% acceleration. But as you're driving the vehicle, if you want to see how your driving behavior is, you can definitely open up this screen. If you're after that maximum fuel economy, keep this page open and it'll really keep your eyes on what you're doing on the road, especially if you're trying to increase your fuel economy, going on that long trip potentially. And those are the options that we had selected really quickly for the configuration of MyView. And that's how you can add those to your vehicle if you just want a quick menu to see those items. All right, folks, so as well with this new interior, we've got this brand new door panel set up here. And what they've changed is where the lock and unlock button are, which make it far more ergonomical and easier for you to access and read what exactly it is you're pushing, as well as your memory seats. So what they've done is they've moved the lock and unlock button up to where the armrest is, and as well as those memory seats, so you can program the seats, the steering wheel, the pedals, and your mirrors all to the position of one driver, which makes that really comfortable and easy to push, easy to read, easy to locate. In addition to that, you've got your mirror settings. So on the bottom here of this directional pad, you've got your left mirror, and then to the right, you have your right mirror. So you'll select that button, you'll use the directional pad, and the directional pad will adjust this driver's side mirror. When I select the left button, I'm adjusting the left mirror over there, and I'll use the directional pad to do that. In addition to all that, you can fold the mirrors at any time. I don't recommend you doing it while you're driving, but it is possible. While you're on highway, definitely don't do it, but you may want to fold those mirrors as you're pulling into a tight parking spot. You may want to be able to fold those mirrors as you're coming through that tight garage spot that you have. I know some vehicles out there in the market, they don't allow you to fold those mirrors until you actually put the vehicle in park. Ford will allow you to fold those mirrors at any given time. Up here on the other side, just across from the mirror fold button above the directional pad, you have the window lock. So if you want your passengers not to have the ability to roll down their windows, maybe there's some kids and they're being rambunctious, you're like, I'm gonna go ahead and lock those windows out from you guys. And then you can control all your window switches right there. So all new ergonomical redesigned door panel. You've got a suede insert on this platinum, which is really beautiful, going along with this leather and this beautiful stitching that's running across with it. You've got this really good wood inlaid section right there near your window switches. And then again, following all the way around, you've got this beautiful stitching going all the way in and around. This vehicle, again, is equipped with that Bang & Olufsen stereo system. If you're in an XLT, you can get Bang & Olufsen. This one has the 18 speaker above 1,000 watt system, so it really submerses you in that sound. So moving on over to this section right here, You've got a button right here on the left-hand top-hand side. That's going to be your driver's side mirror spotlight, and then you've got a passenger just on the opposite. You've got a tailgate drop, which you can drop and also lift the tailgate on this particular model because it does have the power tailgate, so it'll go up and down at your convenience. You've got the bed lighting system right here, so you can click this button on and it'll illuminate every light inside the bed. You can also turn it off from there. You've got your dial here to adjust your headlight system as you choose. So you can turn them off, you can turn your marker lights on, you can turn it to automatic, and then you can also just turn the headlights on in total, all of them. And then to the right of that, you've got plus and minus here, and that's for your screen, center stack screen, and also your 12-inch digital display to control that brightness should that bother you. Just below those, you have your foot pedal adjustment. So like I mentioned earlier, as you set that foot pedal adjustment, your seat, steering wheel, and mirrors to your liking, you can go ahead and save those in the memory save storage spot here on the door. You have also your e-brake, which you can pull, and you can lock the e-brake for the vehicle. In addition, you can also turn on your fog lights if you'd like to, just by clicking this center button right there. And that concludes like this section of it. I do want to point out that this vehicle is built in America. We have this beautiful American flag right here. It's on every one of our Fords, demonstrating that it's built Ford tough and it's built here in America. And as you see this American flag, it's facing in motion, right? So Ford's moving forward with technology. We're progressing forward for the American customer. All right, folks, so moving on to this 10-way power adjustable seat, I just want to kind of show you how it works and how many different ways it maneuvers in its function. So you've got the tilt, which will tilt the seat in the up direction on the front half. You can tilt down, okay? You can move the seat up when lifting from the bottom. You can move the seat down. You can also slide it forward and back, and then you can lean the chair forward and back as necessary. And then on this particular vehicle here, this is a Platinum, so on King Ranch through Limited, you get this massage chair. And very simply, if you just jump into your vehicle, you start it up, you click this center button right here, you'll start your massage. This also doubles as your lumbar support, so you can do the lower back. You can click the up button there, and you'll do the mid back. You can push that in or out as you prefer, and then you can go up again and do your upper back, and that'll push lumbar towards you and subtract lumbar away from you. You can see this all on your main screen, and then you can adjust your lumbar from the screen if you'd like to. But this is a very quick way for you to just tap that center button, start getting a massage as soon as you jump in the vehicle. It doesn't take a whole lot to do it. It's really quick. You don't got to go through a ton of menus just to get your massage going. You just tap that button and you're getting your massage.